Welcome everyone. Today we will be discussing the dynamic between the broadcaster and viewer within smaller Twitch communities, as well as the dynamic between the relationships that these community members have with one another. Many speak of the harmful ways that parasocial relationships play a role between that of the fan and celebrity, or as in this day and age, massively popular content creators. This is a one-way relationship where a viewer knows a wealth of information about the content creator, but the creator knows seemingly nothing about the viewer. Through the overconsumption of content, which is available en masse in form of Twitch streams, the viewer can begin to feel as if they have a bond with the streamer that simply does not exist. Hi there, my name is Shinywave. I've been creating content on the internet in some form or another for the past, 15 years or so. Currently, my favorite platform to make content on is Twitch. I am just a hobbyist though, and my audience is very small, so I am by no means an expert content creator or a professional. I am, however, a massive consumer of content on Twitch. I moderate for many streams, and I absolutely do spend as much time creating content as I do consuming it. So I feel that I can speak from both the creator and the viewer perspective, as I spend quite a bit of time doing both things. I wanted to make this video to outline the perspective on the viewer-streamer relationship within smaller Twitch communities, because it differs wildly from that in larger communities, and I don't really see people talking about this dynamic very often. The key difference between a Twitch stream with hundreds or thousands of viewers and one with, say, 30 viewers is that the broadcaster cannot interact with every chat message in one, and is expected to interact with every single chat message in another. This is often what draws people to smaller communities, as they can have a more intimate interaction with the broadcaster and other viewers and actually carry on a conversation. Feels a lot more natural, collaborative, synergistic, and the chat can oftentimes alter and conduct the tone of the stream. Personally, I love this about smaller communities. I've had wonderful, meaningful conversations about topics that I would struggle to carry on with those in my present IRL life, as it is often referred. But let's dissect that for a minute. In real life, does this imply that the interactions with other users in the Twitch space are not real? That what we do in this realm has no consequence or bearing? This is something that has never really sat right with me, and something I've always felt weird about. I just want to talk about that today. Many people fall into the trap of parasocial relationships with celebrities and larger content creators. Their larger-than-life personalities, extravagant lifestyles, make this easy to happen. But what I do not see discussed is the amount of people that fall into the same trap with streamers with smaller communities. In my opinion, this is due to the fact that these streamers do make an effort to get to know their audience. Personally, I could tell you a lot about several of my regular viewers, such as what kind of job they have, what food they like, what kind of games they like to play, are they married, going to school, etc., etc. It's not because I'm a creep or that I, dig too deep into their lives. It's just because I spend a lot of time talking to them. Like myself, many smaller content creators pride themselves on this, as they treat their viewers as people and not just numbers or random usernames on a screen. I know that from the viewer point of view, I appreciate this as well. This is why I often have trouble connecting to larger streamers with thousands of people in chat. No one will ever respond to you. I don't feel included in that community at all. But there is still an unequal dynamic, because in a stream with, say, 15 active chatters, the broadcaster needs to divide their attention between each and every individual that is chatting, in addition to what they're streaming. Now, a lot of people don't think about this, but it's really important to keep that perspective in mind. There's no possible way the broadcaster can form as close of a bond with the viewers as the viewers can form with the broadcaster. The care and attention that broadcasters in these small communities take to get to know each individual viewer can sometimes give the viewer the wrong impression that they are now friends, or even worse, something more, but that could be a whole nother video. Oof. But in reality, the broadcaster is just being friendly and kinda doing their job. I'd liken it to saying hello to a stranger, or someone you walk past in the street, or holding open a door. General politeness and decency, To confound the situation of confusion for viewers, Many streamers refer to new followers as friends right off the bat. I myself have been guilty of this because it's a huge part of Twitch culture. Real healthy emotional bonds take quite a bit of time and effort to develop, and they certainly don't happen instantly by pressing a follow button. Even if a viewer logically understands this, as many do, most people are perfectly intelligent, emotionally we have a very strong response to that word friend. It hits us deep in the back of our brain, and we're going to make that association, even if logically we do not. It's a powerful word. It makes us feel a very specific way. I have become friends with some of my viewers, but it did come as a result of speaking independently with them outside of Twitch and, playing games, hanging out in Discord, doing other activities together. We did not become friends in the actual stream. That's just my own personal experience. The lore of these smaller communities, however, is that it does satisfy an emotional part of your mind that feels very real. When you find the right online community to spend your time in, it feels like you're in a room of friends. Like you're all just hanging out. Typically, it's really easy to get along, you're all a similar demographic, interested in the same game. Obviously, that's usually what brought you in the stream in the first place. The other allure of the format of a Twitch stream is that you can hang out with this friend group in a safe, detached, aloof kind of way. Engage when you feel like it. Lurk, which is watching and reading the chat without chatting yourself, for those of you who aren't familiar, when you feel like it. Unlike real life, you can walk away at any time. This is not a room full of people, it's just a window and a web browser. You can even be doing another task while hanging out, thus maximizing your productivity while still maintaining that your social needs are being met. A workaholic like me loves this. The rise of people working from home during quarantine has led to many watching streams 24/7. Another common thing among Twitch viewers is to have a stream running while they're playing a game. This psychologically tricks us in a way to thinking we're hanging out and gaming alongside friends. I personally yearn for the times in my childhood where I would crowd around a console with a friend for hours playing a game together, in person. Some of my fondest childhood memories involve a friend and I passing a controller back and forth to play Ocarina of Time, or my brother and I working out our sibling conflicts in Super Smash Bros. As adults, these carefree times are pretty much gone. But for me, the right warmth and coziness of a Twitch stream will bring this feeling back. I used to think this was magical, but lately, I'm beginning to see how it's problematic. Why? Well, because it's not real. This goes back to this whole IRL concept. Smaller Twitch communities can be dangerous for us precisely because they are too cozy and too safe. They create unrealistic expectations of what socialization should be like face to face. They can cause our real life relationships to suffer. These communities are a utopia of sorts. They are full of people who are kind, funny, share similar interests, and love spending seemingly unlimited time with you in a virtual space for hours. I don't have a single IRL friend that has even played a Final Fantasy game, for instance, but online, I've got dozens of people that will talk about any title in the series down to the most painful, minute detail. Will I ever meet these people face to face? Will I ever have a meaningful conversation with them beyond why Final Fantasy VIII is one of the most underrated games of all time? Like, hello, have you played Triple Triad? Anyway, it's certainly not impossible, but it's not likely. I could step back and get very philosophical about friendship. Why should a physical body bear any importance on connection? This is a valid point and honestly one I cannot answer. But I can absolutely say that relationships change when you are in the person's physical space versus not. I may have a different perspective on this as I am an empath. When I'm physically in the room with a person, I'm very in tune with their energy, and usually I can figure out immediately if they're genuine or enthusiastic or unhappy, etc., etc. Even if you don't consider yourself an empath, though, you're probably in tune to this to some degree. Things like tone of voice, body language, etc. add a lot to a conversation and interaction. We get none of that in a Twitch chat. Without the context of these physical clues, it becomes easier for our wormy little brains to distort the words of others to fit our narrative. Like it or not, your ego is there, and it wants to confirm itself always. So, what do these cozy streams become for us? Glorifying echo chambers of the perfect friends that we could only dream of, that we only have to interact with when it's convenient for us. Did I mention that we never even have to get dressed or leave our homes to spend time with them? No wonder it's addictive. Let's also mention that most gamers have a tendency to be introverted. Such detached interaction is already going to be way more comfortable for an introvert from the get go. It's so easy to fall into the cycle of using only the internet to meet your social needs. The IRL world is full of people you have nothing in common with. People may be cruel, interesting, boring, irritating, or just mediocre. As within an ecosystem in nature, diversity within the people you interact with helps to strengthen you as a human, and you become adept at interacting with a variety of people and situations. Unpredictable experiences in the unknown are part of the magic of the world. You are really doing yourself a disservice if you never allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Something I like to tell myself is that struggle equals growth. As an empath with anxiety, I do find socialization exhausting, and I did fall into this trap of using the internet to meet more of my social needs than was healthy for me. I felt a gradual change in my spirit for the worse, and I'm working to reverse this. I wanted to make this video to explain how, yes, there can be too much of a good thing. We can be too cozy, and we can be too safe. Utilizing these communities for a portion of your socialization that cannot be met in real life is wonderful. As I mentioned, it's impossible for me to find people that share all my hobbies and gaming interests in reality, and the internet has been incredible for me to connect with people in this way. And I have made a few real, genuine friends through my journey of content creation whom I'm incredibly thankful for. And those of you watching, you know who you are. Just be sure to check in with yourself periodically and make sure you're not relying on online as a crutch or a stand in for all of your relationships as a whole. You deserve so much more.